You are listening to A Scary State, and this week we're talking about Wisconsin. So, Lauren,
Yes, Kenzie.
let's get scary.
Remember when T-Pain rhymed with Canson or
Wisconsin with mansion.
Wisconsin with mansion? Wisconsin.
You can't.
Mansion. I don't know. I can't rhyme them either.
Wisconsin and mansion.
Wisconsin, mansion.
All the way up in Wisconsin. Poet of our generation.
He was a great guy.
His songs
He's a
are
great
fire.
They are.
So good.
And he can actually sing without autotune.
Yeah, people
Mhm.
just gave him such a hard time.
And Cher used autotune.
Well, duh.
Do you believe in love after love? Man, we're just very musical today.
It's because we're going to a concert.
Mhm.
Woohoo.
A Day to Remember, Yellow Card, Boundaries, and The Wonder Years.
Mhm.
Don't know those two.
I know the Wonder Years.
I've heard
Like, I've
their
heard
name.
of them.
Or am
but I
I
only know
thinking Wonder
ones.
Bread? Who's to say?
Okay. But I only know like one old ass song.
Yeah. Joe looked up one of them. I think it was probably Wonder Years. And he was like, their most recent song was 8 years ago. And I was like, ah.
Yeah. So they were at Warped Tour.
This year?
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't see them.
It's okay.
Did you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just know that they were there.
Should we just jump into Wisconsin?
Yeah, because I don't know what else I was going to say. Oh, I was going to say, I was going to tell a story of my friends who are also going, but they're going technically to see Yellow Card. And when we found out that we were both going, I was like, oh my God, that's so exciting. And they're like, oh, you're going to see Yellow Card. I was like, I mean, yeah, that's nice. But like, no, I'm mostly there to see A Day to Remember. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's the Wonder Years, Yellow Card, and A Day to Remember. And they're like, A Day to Remember is not the name of the tour?
Oh.
I was like, no.
Which also, I'm so shocked that they were like so excited to go to a concert that they thought was headlined by Yellow Card.
Yeah, how misinformed. I feel like because they're going technically for somebody else, like that person wants to go.
Oh, they're tagging along.
Yeah, that maybe that like they didn't really look into it. Like maybe the person knows,
Okay.
but like because they're just going, yeah, like you said, along for the ride.
Yeah.
It just was so funny. I was like, when my friend said that, I was like, no, honey, that's the name of the band. And I like showed her like the poster. She was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, the name of the tour is Maximum Fun.
I mean, A Day to Remember would be a good name for a tour.
Exactly. And that's what I said. I was like, in all honesty, easily confusable.
I mean, my favorite thing to do is saying like, oh, I'm going to go see A Day to Remember, and it will be a day to remember.
Yes.
And people always give me like the, oh my God, look, but how can you not say that?
I mean, let's be real. These band names are wild.
Oh, so wild.
So,
like Falling in Reverse. What does that mean? Of Mice and Men. That's a book.
Memphis Mayfire.
Miss May I.
We Come as Romans.
Upon a Burning Body.
Bless the Fall.
See, so many.
Bring Me the Horizon. How is that even possible?
Ice Nine Kills. Well, that one makes sense because Ice Nine is actually a comic book reference and it like kills people.
Yeah, but
as a band name.
How many people know that?
I only know it because I love them and I looked it up.
Like Sleeping with Sirens.
That's a good one, though.
It is good, but still.
Yeah. They're all good. They just are weird.
Pierce the Veil.
Yeah.
Where?
Why?
Why?
What veil?
Even Yellow Card.
Yeah.
Like
I have a really funny Yellow Card shirt, and it's a hand holding up a yellow card.
Please wear it. Please.
Well, I cropped it so it looked cute.
And
I'm not wearing like normal jean shorts. I'm wearing biker shorts, and I don't think that would look cute.
Says who?
Says me. I'll try it on. We'll see how it looks.
Okay. All right. Tell us about Wisconsin.
In the quiet town of Plainfield, Wisconsin, the world was introduced to one of the most infamous murderers in American history, Ed Gein.
Dun dun.
In the
That's also a sound we need to have.
Ooh,
Dun dun dun.
that's a good one. In the 1940s and 50s, Gein lived alone on his family farm, where he carried out unspeakable acts. He robbed graves, collected body parts to make furniture, clothes, and even masks from human skin. He also murdered 2 women, Mary Hogan and Bernice Warden. Gein's crimes shocked the nation when they were uncovered in 1957, and his twisted legacy would go on to inspire horror icons like Norman Bates, Leatherface, and Buffalo Bill.
Never seen any of those. I don't even know what Leatherface is from.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And Buffalo Bill is... Don't tell me. Silence of the Lambs?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Look at you. And what's Norman Bates from?
Bates Hotel.
Psycho.
Oh.
But, I mean, yes, Bates Hotel, but Bates Hotel came from Psycho.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Yeah, I would have never gotten that.
Perhaps Wisconsin's most notorious criminal, Jeffrey Dahmer, preyed on vulnerable men and boys, many of them young men of color, from 1978 to 1991. His crimes involved murder, sexual assault, dismemberment, and even cannibalism.
Yeah.
Dahmer lived in a Milwaukee apartment where neighbors often complained of foul smells, but police dismissed their concerns. In fact, one of his victims, 14-year-old Konrak Synthesymphone, briefly escaped but was returned to Dahmer by police, who believed the situation was a domestic dispute. Dahmer was eventually caught in 1991 after another intended victim escaped. His case revealed not only his horrifying acts, but also systemic failures in law enforcement's treatment of marginalized
Isn't
communities.
that like the slogan for like the 1970s and 80s with all these serial killers that it's like they could have been caught earlier if law enforcement
Cared.
cared and like took it seriously, but because it was marginalized groups, like they
Well, because
didn't.
I believe the one 14-year-old who was returned back, he was of, like, Asian
He
descent.
was Lao.
Okay, there, perfect. Well, not perfect, but yes.
Yes.
And he was also gay.
Yeah.
So
Two things we're gonna get you.
right. So, of course, cops at that time aren't gonna care.
But he was so young.
I know.
Like still.
You would think then too, like 14, okay, even if it is a domestic dispute, you're 14 and you're clearly older than that.
Yeah, but they were gay. They didn't want to get involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I have a pair of blue light glasses that are like gold framed, and when I wear them, I look so much like Jeffrey Dahmer. I've like stopped wearing them because I can't unsee it.
That's for the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are your glasses, by the way?
In my bag.
Oh, okay.
I can wake up and see.
Oh, it's like as your eyes get tired throughout the day?
No, it's mostly for distance. And
Ah.
like even with distance, I can still see it.
Mhm.
It's just blurry. Now when I'm driving,
Mm.
I can see it when it's about yay close to me.
Mackenzie is holding out her arm not even as far as it can go.
Yeah. But now I can see it at like a normal distance when
Ooh,
I'm driving.
much safer.
And really, above all else, I have to wear them when I'm driving at night because I can't fucking see shit.
Thank God you did something to correct this.
Yeah, I only complained about it for years.
I know. We've heard.
And then
Finally, you went.
finally I win.
For more than 20 years, Walter Ellis stalked the streets of
Have you
Milwaukee.
heard this guy? About this guy?
Walter Ellis?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Have you?
Nope.
Oh. He stalked the streets of Milwaukee, targeting women, most of them sex workers, between 1986 and 2007. Ellis strangled at least 7 women before DNA evidence finally linked him to the crimes in 2009. What's especially chilling is how long Ellis was able to evade capture, in part because his victims were marginalized women whose disappearances often didn't spark large investigations. His case serves as another reminder of how systemic biases can leave vulnerable people without justice for years.
One, he's still alive, which is weird.
Ew.
Two, these cases were not actually connected until like 2009. I guess one of the cases.
All of the women.
Yeah, like all the cases that he's responsible for were never connected. Like they did not see them as being connected at all until his DNA came back for one case that they were investigating. I'm assuming the 2007 one.
Right.
And then, red lights went off for all the other ones.
Oh, wow.
And then they connected it.
Wow.
So like up until pretty much 2007 timeframe,
Mhm.
they did not think that these cases had anything to do with each other.
And I mean, it's really sad, but usually, like, sex workers,
Mhm.
people see them as, I mean, who was it who said it? Who they're, like, less than human?
Yeah.
I can't remember which serial killer said that, but one
Yeah.
of them did. But so I wonder if the cops at the time are like, "Oh, well,
They
even though they're all
probably
have the same background, they're probably not connected."
and I probably looked at it because, they're considered having like a high risk lifestyle.
Right.
And so a lot of times people will look at that as, oh, well, you chose this life where the risk of you being killed is higher than other
Right.
options. So this is, par for the course,
Yeah.
which is not fair. But
Right.
I also have never heard of this guy.
Between 1979 and 1980, Milwaukee. Man, there's a lot of Milwaukee things.
I mean, it's Wisconsin. I can only imagine that it's kind of like Virginia, where like you got some big cities and then everything else
Yeah.
is just kind of farmland.
Maybe it's also like we're just gonna lump it into Milwaukee.
Yeah. Plus, Milwaukee's the capital, right?
No, Madison.
See, this is the problem I have. Not none, but almost none of the state capitals are well-known cities in the state. Like Illinois, I want to say Chicago. It's not Chicago. It's Springfield.
Yeah, like Michigan.
Florida, I would wanna say Orlando, Miami, Tampa Bay. Nope, Tallahassee. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah,
Georgia, thankfully, is Atlanta, I
that's
think.
true. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Louisiana, New Orleans. Nope,
Mhm.
Baton Rouge.
Alright, so about David Van Dyke, so we don't go through all the state capitals.
Just saying, it really throws Washington, Seattle. Nope, Olympia or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, it is Olympia. Okay, so Milwaukee was terrorized by a string of murders committed by David Van Dyke. That sounds like a famous person.
Dick
Dick
Van
Van Dyke.
Dyke.
Yep. Over less than a year, Van Dyke murdered 6 people in their homes, striking unpredictably and without clear motive. His victims ranged in age, gender, and race, making it hard for investigators to connect the cases. The community was left living in fear until Van Dyke was finally caught through fingerprint evidence. His case highlights how sometimes killers don't fit the patterns investigators expect, making them harder to catch. Yeah, no, I didn't know about him either.
Actually, I take it back.
You knew about him?
No,
Oh.
I think Ellis is dead because he, like, died of, like, a heart condition or something, but the next 2 are not dead.
So David Van Dyke is still alive.
Yes.
Okay.
And the next guy, Alvin Taylor, is not to be confused with the actor Alvin Taylor.
Oh, okay.
2 different people.
Oh, interesting. From 1985 to 1987, Alvin Taylor killed 4 of his friends and acquaintances across Wisconsin. What made his case especially disturbing was his claim that voices in his head instructed him to kill evil people. Though his crimes were brutal, the courts ruled him mentally incompetent to stand trial. He was committed to a psychiatric institution where he has remained ever since. Taylor's story is one of mental illness colliding with violence, leaving behind a trail of senseless loss.
Even, like, in recent years when he's obviously been trying to, like, say, "I'm not a danger to society, blah, blah, blah," and while he hasn't done anything, like, outrageous against other patients, he would, like, try to escape and things like that,
Mm,
and so a lot of the staff was like, "No, don't do
right.
that." So and then, like, as he's gotten older, like most people, your mental well-being deteriorates,
Yeah.
and so they're just like, "You're pretty much gonna stay put." But that also means that no one was technically held responsible
Mm-hmm.
for them.
Hmm. Yeah.
I understand, if someone is mentally incompetent to stand trial, like, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I wish there was some also alternative that, like, obviously I know it can't be technically a conviction, but some sort of, honorary whatever.
Well, I mean, they can still be considered guilty, though, due to insanity.
But
Like
no, it's
I
not
get
guilty
it,
by
but
reasons of
but
insanity.
they still have to go somewhere. They don't just get released for free.
No, 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 I know, but, like, it's not official.
That's true.
And that's, like, the part that I was like, I wish there was some I know it could never be official, but, like, non-official way
Like some
that
sort of closure.
yes.
Mhm.
So, obviously, we know he's responsible for them.
Right.
We know that. But because he never stood trial, he was never convicted
Mm,
and, like, truly held responsible.
I see what you mean.
And so, like, I just wish in cases like that, there was, like, some sort of supplemental thing
Right.
that we could give people instead.
Yeah, no, I get that. Between
This is
1885
wild.
and 1900, the small community of Black River Falls, Wisconsin became infamous for what seemed like an endless string of tragedies. This bleak chapter, captured in the haunting book Wisconsin Death Trip, includes suicides, murders, arsons, financial ruin, and outbreaks of disease like diphtheria. Families were torn apart, mental illness ran rampant, and despair seemed to hang over the town like a curse. Some historians say the severe economic depression of the time was to blame, but others wonder if something darker was at work in the community's collective psyche.
It's so, like, no one put this together until this guy wrote this book, Wisconsin Death Trip. He, like, breaks it down into, like, it wasn't just suicide, murders, and things like that. He starts it off with children dying from, like, disease or whatever it is, and,
All
like
in this one same community?
yeah, everything happened within the same community within, X amount of years.
It seems like 15 years.
Yeah, now I don't know
Wow.
how big the community is, and I'm sure that someone with a mathematical mind can, surely talk about the odds based on size, but
Right.
first I've ever heard of it, and I was like, "That's wild."
That is kind of weird.
So,
Wisconsin wasn't immune to organized crime. In Milwaukee, the Balistrieri crime family ruled the city's underworld for decades, especially during and after Prohibition. They controlled illegal gambling, extortion, and rackets?
like racketeering.
Yeah, interesting. And rackets, and were deeply connected to the Chicago outfit. Under boss Frank Balistieri, Milwaukee became known as a mob stronghold, and violence was a common tool for keeping power. While their influence eventually waned after Balistieri's death in 1993, the family left a lasting mark on Milwaukee's criminal history.
Yeah.
Yeah. During Prohibition in the 1920s and early 1930s, Wisconsin became a hotbed for speakeasies, bootlegging, and organized crime. There we go with Milwaukee again.
Yep.
Milwaukee's large brewing industry meant that, despite the nationwide alcohol ban, beer flowed freely. Criminal groups and sometimes even legitimate businesses ran illegal bars and operations under the radar. Violence and corruption followed, with murders like that of bootlegger Frank A. Yellow, reminding the public of the dark underbelly of the dry era.
See, what's so funny to me about Prohibition time is they gave it back because of how much crime was happening. Because people were like, okay, well, I'm going to drink anyway.
But, wasn't it a thing, or did I heard this on some show, so
Mhm.
it could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Was it because alcohol was so dangerous then?
No.
And water was okay, so what I heard, I don't know where I watched this from, but what I heard was water was dangerous at the time because it
Mhm.
wasn't clean.
Mhm.
And so people were drinking beer more because
Mm-mm.
water was dangerous.
Mm-mm. No, it was not at all.
I really wish I could tell you where I heard this from because I was watching, I was like, well, I never knew that.
No, it was because of the temperance movement. So it was like for religious reasons. And
Oh,
they're, anti-alcohol. I can't remember what the range of prohibition was, but if my timing is right, then it was post World War I. So all the men were coming back and had PTSD, which wasn't a thing then,
right.
and were drinking and probably abusing their wives.
Huh.
So then they made it illegal.
Mm-hmm.
People did it anyway, like humans do.
Right.
And that's also how organized crime started to become a thing.
Like an uprising of it. Yeah.
Because of prohibition.
Yeah.
And so they gave it back, and I'm like, you'd think you would learn with other drugs.
Right.
Like, imagine, would the cartels have been formed if cocaine was just legal?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point.
Just saying.
Wisconsin's dark history isn't only about murder and mobsters, it also includes systemic racism. In the late 1980s, the University of Wisconsin-Madison faced a wave of racial incidents. One of the most infamous was the fraternity's Harlem Room Party,
Jesus.
where white students wore blackface and mocked black culture with stereotypes like fried chicken and watermelon.
Oh my God.
These events sparked protests and student activism, forcing the university to confront issues of racism on campus and exposing how deeply ingrained prejudice remained in Wisconsin's institutions.
I wonder how many politicians that have been caught with blackface.
Oh my
were,
God.
a part of this.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. This one wasn't in Milwaukee.
Oh, all of Wisconsin that. Oh, no. Yeah, it is.
Oh, I meant the last one.
Oh, the last one. Racism continues to haunt Wisconsin. In recent years, the state has seen a rise in white supremacist activity, including propaganda campaigns, public demonstrations, and hate groups organizing in cities like Waukesha and Milwaukee. These incidents show that Wisconsin's history of racial tension is far from over, and that the state, like much of the U.S., is still grappling with the legacy of white supremacy and ongoing discrimination. Can't say that's gone anywhere.
No.
If anything, it's worse.
Yes. Yes, it is. But as we know, people don't like to look at facts. They just like to look at what validates their thinking
And what will keep them
in power.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of power. So at school the other day, we're learning about the Middle Ages as part of one of our language arts unit. Not that they
kind
have
of cool.
Not that they have to remember the Middle Ages, but using that as the context for the skills that we're teaching them for
Right.
reading, writing, etc. And so we were talking about how the middle class started because of craftsmen and merchants and things like that. And one of the kids asked why it was craftsmen. And without even thinking, I said, because men have ruled this place for far too long and everything has to be about them.
What did the kids say?
They were like, yeah, let's say woman. I was like, why don't we just say people? Craftspeople.
Start them young.
Yeah. So
No.
didn't even hesitate. I don't even remember if it was a boy or girl who asked it, but didn't even hesitate. Men have been in charge for far too long, and that's why.
Yes, Mackenzie.
And they totally accepted it.
See?
Even the boys were just like, yeah.
Yeah, because at that age, they understand fairness. They understand, everything should be fair. Men and women.
It's sometimes really hard to, teach through some topics because the kids get so stuck on how unfair something was.
Oh,
And it's just like, I understand you guys are right, but like we got to move on, you know?
how cute is
Yeah,
that?
like they just can't comprehend it.
Ugh, it teaches you that all of that stuff is learned. Like, all of the, like, discrimination and all of the hate, it's learned. You're not born hating people.
Correct. Correct. So,
Ugh, they're so pure and we must protect them.
yeah, I mean, not all children. Some children are being dicks, but I 100% blame their parents.
Yeah,
Because they're children. Now,
Uh-huh.
teenagers, half and half.
Yeah, haven't it? All right, well, that's Wisconsin.
Yeah. What's spooky tea upon, Lauren?
All right, so given the past events of the past little bit of time, I just feel like I have to give a little caveat for this one.
Timing.
Timing is not great. So I started my research on this topic on Tuesday. At that point, there had been no recent assassinations or anything like
Of
that.
course.
So the topic I'm doing is because it happened over 150 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I already started my notes way ahead of time.
And is it about assassination?
Potentially. Kenzie. And some of the
Your
things
suffering is what's funny.
some of the things in here will hit a little close to home for some things. So Kenzie. All right. John Schrank was born in Erding, Bavaria on March 5th, 1876 to parents Michael and Catherine Schrank. Why do you have the...
Because you just said a lot of weird words.
In 1889, when he was just 13, John and his family emigrated to America, New York City specifically.
Emigrated. Emigrated is when you move within.
Oh, well, then maybe he already lived here. I don't know. The article I read said emigrated.
Okay.
And shortly after they moved there, his parents died. His father from consumption at the age of only 38.
Which I learned is tuberculosis.
Yeah, not drinking too much or eating too much.
You'd think,
You would think.
but it's not.
Unsure of how his mother died, though. Without his parents here to help him, his paternal aunt, Anna Fleming, and her husband, Dominique Fleming, adopted John, and he arrived in Manhattan with them on October 22nd, 1889. He got a job working for his uncle at the tavern his uncle owned in New York, first as a busboy, then as a bartender. Overall, he was described as mild-mannered, reserved but cheerful, with a wry sense of humor. He was well-liked by his neighbors, though he was quiet, shy, and withdrawn. And by his own accounts, he never formed friendships.
Okay. That doesn't make me think you're a good person.
No. And John was always very into American politics and named George Washington, James Madison, and Abraham Lincoln as his personal heroes.
Okay, so far, no problems.
But
Well, like, there's problems, but not in-depth problems.
Right.
Or, I'm sorry, it is in-depth problems. It's not surface-level problems.
Okay. But tragically, not long after, his aunt and uncle passed away, which caused John a lot of distress.
Uh-oh.
Not only had he lost his essentially second set of parents, but his one and only girlfriend had died in a ferry accident in New York's East River at the age of 19 on June 15th, 1904.
That's tough.
There had been a fire on the P.S. General Slocum. That was the ferry.
Mm-hmm.
After her death, which he said was the greatest tragedy of his life, he once wrote, quote, "I never had a friend in my life except for one girl who was killed in a steamboat accident."
So he's really anti-steamboat.
Yeah, I would say so. After this, he was described as a disconnected and awkward man who did not associate with other people. He also began drinking heavily, with his daily average being 5 pints of beer. He also started smoking about 6 cigars a day.
Wow.
But his aunt and uncle had left all of their possessions to John. In addition to the tavern, his uncle was also a landlord, and all that was left to him would ensure that he could live a quiet and peaceful life. But that isn't what John did.
No, of course not.
He quickly sold all of the possessions, and using that money, traveled the East Coast.
Okay.
At this time, he also became very religious,
Uh-oh.
where he became, quote, a fluent Bible scholar whose debating skills were well known around his neighborhood's watering holes and public parks.
Oh my God.
I did this on Tuesday, before anything happened. And I was too far in my notes that I couldn't start over.
You know, when you said some parallels, I wasn't thinking
haven't-
that it'd be practically the
We
same.
haven't even gotten into all of them yet.
I bet he gets killed, doesn't he?
I'm not going to give away anything. He also started writing poetry and would often walk around the city streets at night, though he never caused any trouble while doing so. He just liked the peacefulness of night.
Okay.
President
Such a man thing.
I know, because it's safe for you.
Yeah.
President McKinley died on September 14th, 1901.
Wasn't he assassinated?
Which just so happens, yes, which just so happens to be when Theodore Roosevelt began his term as 26th president of the U.S. Fun fact.
Hey.
But that is because after McKinley was assassinated, Roosevelt took over as he had been serving as VP at the time. McKinley had died of gunshot wounds sustained in his assassination a week prior.
I love it when I am historically right.
Oh, I have another thing in here where I think I ask you a question.
Okay.
It's a pop quiz.
Uh-oh.
I think. I don't know. I can't remember. Because
Okay.
So the day after McKinley's death, September 15th, 1901, John had a dream. In his dream, he saw McKinley lying in his coffin.
I'm assuming it's not like Martin Luther's.
No. But suddenly, the corpse rose and pointed to a figure, quote, in the robe of a monk. The figure ended up being the current president of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh, no.
McKinley turned to face John and said, "This is my murderer. Avenge my death."
Oh, no.
This dream didn't mean much to John for years, until Roosevelt announced his bid for the presidency in February of 1912. So I need to read exactly how Wikipedia wrote this next part.
Okay.
Schrank, who followed the developments of the 1912 presidential elections with great interest through newspapers, was opposed to Roosevelt and believed seeking a third term violated Schrank's interpretation of the Declaration of Independence and George Washington's farewell address in what he termed the unwritten laws. He claimed that Roosevelt was attempting to dismantle the U.S. Constitution to give himself the power to replace the democratic system with a dictatorship, and that Roosevelt, as McKinley's vice president, had orchestrated McKinley's murders to secure the president's office for himself.
So same but different.
Mm-hmm. Third term, dictatorship.
Yeah, but he was against it.
I know.
So same but different.
Right. Yeah. John believed that presidents should hold 4 core tenets. Those are, quote, a president is limited to 2 terms, is mandated to uphold the Monroe Doctrine, has to be a Protestant, and must not engage in wars of conquest.
I agree with 3 out of the 4, although I'm not sure what the Monroe Doctrine, whatever says, so that's iffy.
Google time. Brief summary of the Monroe Doctrine. It was a U.S. foreign policy established in 1823 that declared the Western Hemisphere closed to further European colonization and warned against European interference in the affairs of newly independent nations in the Americas.
Okay, so irrelevant at this point, but sure.
Right. But at that time, early 1900s.
Yeah, like I said, 3 out of the 4 is fine.
To him, this meant that the dream he had in 1901 had been a vision sent to him by God.
Wow, he really held on to that for some time, didn't he?
And it is now his mission to stop this from happening, even if that meant killing Roosevelt. Even though he was religious, he thought that since he was acting as an instrument of God, the commandment of "thou shalt not kill" should be overwritten.
How many people have used that as an excuse?
Then on September 14th, 1912, John was home, casually and leisurely writing and reading poetry. He had just finished a poem entitled "Be a Man," which was written
Use your hand. Diarrhea. Sorry.
What is that from?
Be a man. Use your hand. Diarrhea. My sister taught it to me when we were kids.
Oh my God. I thought it was a TikTok I just wasn't privy to.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So this Be a Man poem was about the McKinley assassination.
I'll make a man out of you.
Suddenly, he felt a tap on his shoulder. When he turned to see, Kenzie last night was making noises in her sleep because we had a sleepover, and I turned over to tap her to get her to stop, but before my hand even touched her back, she freaked out and turned around at me, having woken up. I didn't even tap her.
I was convinced that she had touched my back.
Nope.
Not just like my back, but like my lower back.
No, and I wasn't even near your lower back. I was going to tap your shoulder.
It felt like it was in my lower back.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
So anywho, when John felt the tap.
It's our magnetic energy.
It is. He turned around to see who had tapped him. Former President McKinley was standing there.
Oh, good Lord.
Who had what John described as dying eyes.
Well, he's a ghost and dead. So.
Right. McKinley then said, quote, "Do not let a murderer sit in the president's chair. Avenge my death."
How can we put Teddy Roosevelt as a murderer when literally teddy bears are named after him? And he's the reason why we have state parks. I'm not saying he was perfect. I'm sure there's something wrong. But
I thought the teddy bears were named after him because he refused to kill a bear in the woods.
Still named after him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. With that, John knew what he had to do. He went and purchased a $14 .38 caliber Colt revolver, which in today's money would be over $456.
Well,
he packed up his things to include the revolver and boarded a train departing New York City. He first went to New Orleans, then Charleston, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Evansville, Indiana, and Chicago.
Are we gonna end up in Wisconsin at some point?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
All following the campaign route of Theodore Roosevelt, which he did for 24 days. In each location, there were always obstacles in place for him being able to follow through with McKinney's wish. Though in Chattanooga, he was within 10 feet or 3 meters of Roosevelt, but he was too nervous to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, John heard that Roosevelt's next stop was Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Ah.
So that is where he headed to wait. He arrived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on October 14th, 1912. He checked in a hotel under the alias Albert Rose. John then made his way to the Hotel Gilpatrick, where Teddy Roosevelt was dining with his campaign advisors. The dinner at the hotel was provided by the owner, who was a supporter of Roosevelt. After he concluded dinner, Roosevelt was scheduled to deliver a speech at the Milwaukee Auditorium. John waited for him at the Herman Rolfink Saloon right across the street from the hotel. There, John began drinking beer, telling a bartender that he was a journalist. At some point, John asked the band to play the Star-Spangled Banner, and he danced while they played the song.
What an odd choice.
He then bought each member of the band a drink. Right before he left, he bought another round of drinks. Those at the bar said that John was quiet and pleasant. Roosevelt's dinner lasted until about 8 p.m., when at that point, Roosevelt moved out of the hotel and towards his car. There, obviously, a crowd had gathered with John amongst them, because Teddy Roosevelt had appeared. He stood on the floorboards of his convertible and waved to the cheering crowd.
Had a what?
He stood on the floorboards of his
No,
convertible?
Because Teddy Roosevelt had a what?
Appeared.
Appeared. I thought you said because Teddy Roosevelt had a beard.
Not quite.
I was so confused.
The whole crowd goes wild because of this beard.
Well, that's why I was confused.
No, he had appeared.
Appeared, yes.
Knowing this was his final chance, John raised the pistol, with it aimed right at Roosevelt's head. Right as he was about to pull the trigger, a spectator named Adam Bittner saw. Right as John was...
Adam Bittner?
Yeah. Spelled Bittner.
So like how it should be spelled.
Yep. Right as John was pulling the trigger, Bittner struck his arm down. This resulted in the bullet hitting Roosevelt right in the chest rather than the head.
So the opposite.
Roosevelt was knocked down by the force of the shot. John was then tackled by Elbert E. Martin, one of Roosevelt's secretaries and an ex-football player.
Nice.
Martin managed to wrestle John to the ground and seize his gun. A mob then began brutally beating John, while others ran off to grab ropes to lynch him right there in the street.
Damn.
He was picked up by his feet while he was being beaten. People in the crowd were yelling, "Kill him! Hang him!" But Roosevelt was able to get to his feet and he said, quote, "Don't hurt the poor creature. Bring him here. I want to see him."
Wow.
The crowd was shocked that Roosevelt was okay, and as the crowd erupted into cheers, policemen were able to make their way into the crowd to John. Roosevelt asked again for John to be brought to him. The police led him to Roosevelt. Roosevelt, while looking deeply into John's eyes, asked why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
But John didn't reply. He remained quiet.
I mean, what are you going to say? The ghost of
McKinley wanted
President
me to
McKinley
assassinate
came
you?
to me and said he wanted me to kill you? Talk about losing credibility.
Quote, "Oh, what's the use? Turn him over to the police," Roosevelt said.
It's almost like he's trying to understand a different perspective to really bring us together. But the other side continues to be problematic.
So other than like the Bull Moose Party, what side was Roosevelt? Was he Democrat or Republican leaning?
I don't know, but at this point it hadn't switched over yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As they dragged John
Or it
out
was
of...
like in the process, but it was slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they dragged John out of the crowd, Roosevelt said, quote, "You poor creature. Officers, take charge of him and see that there is no violence done to him."
See, this is what it looks like to be a decent human being in the face of adversity.
As John was being taken away and back into the Hotel Gilpatrick, those in the crowd booed at him and cheered again for Roosevelt. Roosevelt decided that the bullet did not puncture his lung, as he was not coughing up blood, so he declined going to the hospital and made his way to the Milwaukee Auditorium to give his planned speech,
Ruh-roh.
stating, quote, "I'm going to make that speech if it's the last thing on earth I do."
Uh-oh.
His opening comments were, quote, "Friends, I shall ask you to be as quiet as possible. I don't know whether you fully understand that I have just been shot, but it takes more than that to kill a bull moose. But fortunately, I have my manuscript, so you see, I was going to make a long speech, but there is a bullet. There is where my bullet went through," and he holds up his paper, "and it probably saved it from going into my heart. The bullet is in me now, so that I cannot make a very long speech, but I will try my best." During his speech, he showed the crowd his bullet wound. He opened his vest and showed the crowd the bloody stain on his shirt, which now spread from his right breast to his waist. He spoke for 50 minutes before finishing his speech and finally seeking medical attention.
Okay.
Roosevelt went on to be fine and fully recover,
Love that.
though the bullet in his chest was never removed, as it was not considered to be in a dangerous spot.
How would they know?
I think there were x-rays then.
You think so?
Yeah,
Oh.
because I have a picture of the x-rays that you can post.
So that's gotta mean something.
It was determined that it would actually be more dangerous for Roosevelt if they attempted to remove it.
Okay.
The bullet had traveled 4 inches or 10 centimeters and had broken Roosevelt's fourth rib on his right side.
Ouch.
It was discovered that the bullet had struck his eyeglasses case and his 50-page speech manuscript, which had been folded in half, titled Progressive Cause Greater Than Any Individual, before entering his chest, which is what most likely saved his life.
So if he was progressive, or what would have been considered progressive at the time, then we would probably consider him more left-leaning.
Today, he would be more left-leaning?
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on what kind of progressive he's referring to, but I figure someone who wants to keep state parks and is forgiving to someone who shoots them.
Right. But yeah, so he had 100 pages and his eyeglasses case, which prevented the bullet from going in even further. So those two things are what saved his life.
Bizarre.
William Howard Taft and Democratic nominee Woodrow Wilson both suspended their presidential campaigns until Roosevelt recovered and resumed his, after spending only 2 weeks recuperating. Okay, pop quiz, Mackenzie. Who won this 1912 election? So it's
I-
between Taft, Wilson, and Roosevelt.
I want to say it was Woodrow Wilson.
Okay. In this election, Roosevelt received more votes and electoral votes than Taft, but Wilson got more than each of them and won the presidency.
Yes.
Nice job. Look at you and your history. And with Jeopardy last night, you were on it.
Yeah. Well, because it's this time when I actually kind of know
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck is going on. It's in the 1800s that I couldn't tell you the order.
That you're like, I don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
After Monroe, I don't know.
So back to John.
Yes.
When he was arrested, he originally refused to give his name, but eventually, after questioning, he did give his name and even confessed to the crime. When asked why he did
What
it,
is he going to say? No, I didn't do it?
yeah.
Like, what?
When asked why he did it, he responded with, I did it because I was opposed to the third term. Don't talk to me. I will not say anything until tomorrow, for I want to sleep.
That's wild.
The next day, the Milwaukee Sentinel published a special edition with the headline, quote, Insane Man Shoots Roosevelt. When John saw this, he insisted that he was not insane. He said that God had selected him to receive visions and that he was motivated to prevent Roosevelt from becoming king.
I'm sure he fully believes that.
And becoming king.
It's weird because it's like, I don't disagree with you, but your anger's towards the wrong person.
Right.
I can't see Roosevelt having wanted a dictatorship.
Right. It's like your anger, completely valid. The things that you're
Sure.
mad about, completely valid.
We just need you to have, you were just 100 years too early.
And also, like, there doesn't need to be an assassination for that.
No, there doesn't. But his anger was 100 years too early.
Yes. This is when authorities found that John had actually been stalking Roosevelt for some time in preparation of the assassination. While John was in jail, after only a week, the sheriff ordered him to bathe regularly. There were reports that he did not like to bathe, but there had been so many
Sounds like your
complaints.
husband.
There had been many complaints of his offensive body odor.
Hmm?
I don't know, Joe's body odor isn't that bad.
This man didn't shower for 3 days.
Back to John. Because of the smell, the sheriff ordered his clothes be destroyed. John pled guilty at his first arraignment hearing on October 15th, 1912. Then on November 12th, 1912, he pled guilty at his preliminary hearing. He was charged with shooting with the intent to kill, which carried a maximum sentence of 15 years.
So attempted murder.
Pretty much. As for John Schrank, he initially pled guilty to the charge of attempted murder, but the judge presiding over the case was unconvinced of his sanity. So he brought the case to trial instead. On November 14th, 1912, John was evaluated by the Sanity Commission. They described him as right-handed, 5 foot 4.5 inches, or 164 centimeters.
Imagine if the only problem with him was that he was left-handed.
Thank God he's right-handed.
Right?
So he was 5 feet and 4.5 inches without shoes and weighed 160 or 73 kilograms wearing his clothes.
Okay, wait a minute. He was 160 pounds,
Uh-huh.
5 feet 4 inches.
Uh-huh.
So he was a big, tiny man.
Yeah. He had blondish hair and bluish gray eyes. His jailer described him as quiet, very attentive, and cheerful. The Sanity Commission finished their report on November 22nd, 1912, and said about John, quote, Our conclusions are as follows. First, John Schrank is suffering from insane delusions, grandiose in character, and of the systematized variety. Second, in our opinion, he is insane at the present time. Third, on account of the connection existing between his delusions and the act with which he stands charged, we are of the opinion that he is unable to confer intellectually with counsel and to conduct his defense.
Isn't it whether you can determine what you did is right or wrong?
He didn't think he was wrong, though.
He didn't think his actions were wrong, but does that not mean that he knows that killing is like, he knows that killing is against the law?
but not for him
Oh,
because he was acting as God's instrument.
oh, okay.
So he was found not guilty by reason of insanity by the jury and was sent to the Northern State Hospital for the mentally disturbed in Oshkosh.
Oshkosh. I like that.
If he were to recover from, quote, such insanity, he could come back to the court for further proceedings.
Okay.
He was then transferred to the Central State Mental Hospital in Waupun.
That's not as fun.
Roosevelt opposed John's insanity claims, though. He noted that John had started following him in Louisiana, but had enough sense to wait until Wisconsin to do the assassination.
Right. Like his thinking is absolutely absurd
Mm-hmm.
and crazy, but he's still of sound mind.
Yeah.
Like he could still think things through. Are his thoughts completely incorrect? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But he has clear decision making.
Right. Right. John almost certainly would have actually been lynched had he attempted the assassination in a southern state, and if he had not been lynched, he would have been executed with a trial anyways. Which is why Roosevelt's saying he didn't do it in the South because he knew he would have been killed immediately. He did it
Right,
in the
because he'd been
North.
following him around.
Right. He did it in the North because he knew he'd have a chance
Which
at trial.
means that he, again, has the thought process
Mm-hmm.
to think the plan through.
He further said that John had, quote, a disordered brain, which most criminals and a great many non-criminals have.
Yeah.
Interestingly, though,
Any non-criminals. He's like, both criminals and normal people are stupid.
Interestingly, though, around 1912, John had been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. That term has been outdated since 2013, though.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
the DSM-5 has probably changed what it is.
Do you know what it is now?
Google.
Google. Google. Use your Google.
Paranoia is now just a common symptom under the broader diagnosis of schizophrenia.
So you can be schizophrenic and then also have paranoia.
Yes.
But it's not its own diagnosis.
Correct.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
While there at these mental hospitals, he told doctors of the dreams he had been having and that he had wanted to shoot Roosevelt because he was running for a third term. He didn't intend to kill the citizen Roosevelt, but rather Roosevelt the third termer.
All this because of a third term.
Yep. And he was scared of a dictatorship.
Again,
100 years too early.
100 years too early. And I would say valid, but maybe not for Roosevelt. Like maybe being fearful of a dictatorship, sure.
And of having a king, sure.
Absolutely. But of thinking that Roosevelt wanted that,
Mm-hmm.
I think is a bit of a stretch.
I think it's just the fact that, like, Roosevelt was the first one who was potentially going to run for a third term.
Yeah, because I mean, he is right. It was this unspoken thing that you only ran twice. Usually, though, if you look at things, there's always some sort of circumstance that, like, even if they were going to do it for a third time, something happens.
Right. Like with Roosevelt, for instance, he finished out McKinley's term.
Right.
And then he served 2.
Right.
And so he technically served more than his 2 terms.
Right.
So he was going to be running again for an even longer term.
Right. And the only other president was his, I don't know if they're cousins.
I'll get to it.
Okay.
John hoped that this assassination would send a warning message to any other presidents who wanted to try for a third term. After evaluation, John was declared insane by doctors, saying that he suffered from, again, grandiose in character and insane delusions. He was then declared insane. What is interesting to note here, his maternal aunt, Anna Binghammer, had suffered from persecutory delusions. This is when someone believes that they are being targeted by someone and that harm is going to come to them.
And that's the one who raised him?
No, this is his maternal aunt. He was raised by his paternal aunt.
So genetics, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
She was committed to an asylum in Bavaria. She died in 1901 from encephalomalacia, or cerebral softening, which is a localized softening of the substance of the brain due to bleeding or inflammation.
Ooh.
His paternal grandfather...
I wonder if that's why there was a problem, because her brain was bleeding.
Well, yeah. Yeah. His paternal grandfather was recorded as having suffered a sudden mental decline as well and died shortly after.
Mm.
So we have a lot of history.
Yeah, in the family.
Yep. And for the next 30 years, John either wasn't allowed to receive any visitors or have any type of communication from the outside world, or he just didn't have any visitors and any type of communication.
Right.
Different information from different sources.
Sure.
But when he heard of Roosevelt's death in 1919, he said that Roosevelt was a great American and was sorry to hear about his death. John
yeah,
was,
he probably, as soon as he didn't get his third term, he's like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, fine. John was described as a model prisoner and was sometimes even allowed to go to the city of Waupun alone.
I can see that.
He would die on September 16th, 1943 of bronchial pneumonia. his body was donated to the Medical Center of Marquette University, which is now the Medical College of Wisconsin, for anatomical dissection. So his ultimate plan of keeping someone for running 3 terms didn't succeed,
Right.
because later the other Roosevelt, Franklin Delano, was elected to 4 terms.
Franklin Delano.
It's not Delano.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt?
It's not Delano. It's Delano. Delano. I promise you.
I've just never heard Delano. Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Franklin Roosevelt's middle name.
Well, that's not how people pronounce it.
It's not, but that's what it is.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
You're not, but it's Delano. It's probably because when you say the Roosevelt with it, it gets that R sound.
I promise you, more people are going to find you weird than me weird.
But I'm correct.
That's not the point.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
I think it sounds weird.
It does, but it's the truth. It's Delano.
Okay.
So he was elected to 4 terms as president from 1933 to 1945. The 2-term limit came about in the 22nd Amendment, which was ratified in... See, pop quiz putting you on the spot.
I want to say maybe 1947?
Close, 1951.
Okay.
After
I wasn't sure how long after the war.
Yeah.
Because the only reason he got the next one, the third one, was because of that we were in the middle of World War II.
See, if this had been a pop quiz, you would have gotten the question wrong, but you would have gotten the description right, that your teacher would have been like, I'm just going to give you the points anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
I know why we had the
Exactly.
22nd Amendment. I'm just not sure the year.
Yeah. See, so you would have passed the class.
Yeah.
So after he learned of this, that Franklin Delano Roosevelt had gotten a 4th term.
Can you just say FDR?
John told a guard that if he had not been incarcerated, he would have interfered.
I was wondering, I was just about to ask, I was like, how did he feel about when FDR got another term past the 2 that you normally have?
Yep, he would have interfered.
Damn.
So yeah, that's the story of John Schrank.
The parallels are funny.
They're wild.
However, it's the same but different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the same but different.
Yeah, because when it was the assassination, I started this on Tuesday into Wednesday, and then when I found out about that, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Had the guy gotten assassinated for what he was saying, then it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But since it was him doing the assassination, even though he had wild beliefs, same but different.
Right. Also, what is classified as an assassination? Of a president, it's an assassination. Of school kids, it's a shooting. Of MLK, it was an assassination.
I wonder if it's your ranking in society, how well known you are.
Okay.
So the higher up you are, the more well known you are.
But then if someone shot Beyonce, would that be an assassination? Or does it have to be political for it to be considered an assassination?
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's
because Selena.
Yeah.
When she was shot, it wasn't considered an assassination.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it has to have some sort of political agenda.
Interesting. Because I was wondering that the other day. I was like, how do we determine what is considered an assassination, what's considered just a sad shooting?
Yeah, I think you're right, or at least you sound right.
Thank you.
That it has to be to someone, maybe it has to be someone in power. Well, not in power, because obviously he wasn't technically in power. But
yeah, maybe political leaning.
I do think logically it makes sense that an assassination would have to be considered if it was if the person who was shot was a person well known in society and they were shot because of their beliefs. Maybe it doesn't have to be political beliefs. Maybe it could just be beliefs, period.
Okay. So Wikipedia says, assassination is the willful killing by a sudden or secret attack of a person, especially if prominent or important.
Okay, so yeah, high ups in society.
Mm-hmm. It may be promoted by political, ideological, religious, financial, or military motives.
Yeah, because when Selena was killed, she was killed by her number one fan.
Right.
So that's just insanity.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it makes sense why Gandhi was assassinated.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And MLK
was assassinated.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there we go.
Look at you. But not the witches.
There are witches?
Lauren, have you not seen the whole thing with the Etsy witches?
No.
Girl.
All right, we'll end this so you can show me. Here we are again, another day. And on this day, what do you have for me, Kenzie?
So lame.
I know.
So boring.
I know.
This story is a unique close encounter of the third kind.
Ooh, we haven't had one of these in a while.
I
Wait,
am.
third kind? Oh,
Third
yeah,
kind.
that would be it. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Because there's the movie, The Fourth Kind, and I got confused. Yeah, there is.
It's third.
It's a close encounter of the fourth kind.
There's only 3.
No, there's not. Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind.
Bitch.
2009 film The Fourth Kind, also known as Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, stars Mila Jovovich.
Look up Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That is a thing, too. There are 2 movies.
Wait, that's the movie. The fourth kind shit you're talking about, nobody knows about.
It's a movie!
I didn't say it wasn't a movie. I said nobody knows about it.
I knew about it!
Well, because you're weird.
And it's also, yeah, there's...
We figured this out
It's
when you said
also-
Delano.
It's real! It's also a type of alien encounter. A Close Encounter of the Fourth Kind.
What's after meeting them?
I'm 99% sure you've covered that there's the fourth kind.
No, I've covered 3. First, second, and third.
What is a close encounter of the fourth kind? It involves alien abduction where the human is taken against their will by extraterrestrial beings. So meeting them is the third.
The original guy who made it up, 3.
Being taken has become the fourth.
But the OG, 3.
But there are 4.
And the movie,
You can have an OG, but times evolve and times change.
I'm going to let you have this one to make you feel better.
I'm right!
No one knows about the fourth kind.
Okay,
Everyone knows
everyone
the Close
listening,
Encounters of the Third Kind.
everyone listening,
Everyone knows that movie.
please let us know if you know Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind.
Plus, it also doesn't make sense because mine is truly a third kind.
Okay.
So then you should have referenced the proper movie.
No, because there's a fourth
But
kind.
I'm not talking about that.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
In your case, it's the third kind.
And
But you
therefore,
have to
right-
acknowledge that there is a fourth kind.
No, because I'm talking about the third.
That's great for you, but you're not talking about the first or the second? Are you
Which
just
is
saying,
why you didn't say Close
Are you just
Encounters of
saying-
the first kind.
Are you just saying that there is no first or second?
I didn't say that. I said you are
Okay.
referencing the wrong movie.
No, I'm not. For
In
your
relation to my
story, in
story.
relation to your story, yes.
Oh,
But
there
in
it is.
general,
She said yes.
but
She
in
said yes.
general, there is a fourth
You heard it
kind.
here first. You heard it here first. She said yes. I'm right.
In
Anyway,
general, there's a fourth kind.
Anyway, she said yes. I'm right. You all heard it here first. It is officially recorded in the ether.
I said for
everybody
your
to
story, the third kind. In general, there is a fourth kind.
Right.
I'm the one who does this at the end. I can take out all of this and be right.
She said, "You want to edit my piece? Go for it."
No.
Exactly.
But I could.
Do you want to hear about his third encounter?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I do.
I'll go. I'll keep it to myself. And the people of Wisconsin, because they probably know about it.
Okay, I want to hear. Go ahead. You still have to spend the whole day with me anyway, so we might as well just tell the story.
No, you know what? I'm going to wait till we're at the concert, and I'm going to tell Bree. You don't get to hear it.
I have to walk away and plug my ears.
Exactly. So not only did the person in our story interact with extraterrestrials, but they also served him pancakes.
Okay, no, I thought that would go at all.
I know. In 1961, Eagle River, Wisconsin had about 1,367 residents. In 2010, the population had only increased by 31 people. But as of 2020, the population has increased to 1,628.
Oh,
So we got 300 more people.
wow.
Give or take. Today, it is known as the snowmobile capital of the world. Many of the homes are vacation places used for seasonal hunting and fishing. The first UFO report in Wisconsin came in 1886.
Oh, wow.
As of 2021, Wisconsin has 1,666 reported UFO sightings with the National UFO Reporting Center, and that number ranks them the 21st state with the most UFO sightings. I don't know which one's number 1. I didn't
Ugh.
look it up.
You knew I was going to ask you.
I knew you were going to ask me right now. I didn't think about you asking
At the
me
moment.
At the moment.
Yep.
In fact, there are 3 cities in Wisconsin that each claim to be the UFO capitals of the world.
Oh, naturally.
Campbellsport, Belleville, and Elmwood.
I have not heard of any of those.
Same. And I would just like to say that both Campbellsport and Elmwood are about 3.5 hours away from Eagle River, and Belleville is about 4.5, 5 hours away.
Okay.
So are you really the capital? Has anyone in your town been served pancakes by aliens?
Oh, the aliens served the pancakes.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought we were serving pancakes to aliens.
They also served him pancakes.
Yeah, I didn't know who him you were talking to. I didn't know if him was referring to the alien being served
Not
pancakes.
only did the person in our story interact with extraterrestrials, they also served him pancakes.
Yeah, it sounds like he served them pancakes.
They also
He-
served him pancakes?
I thought they as in the singular.
No, they're not. In this case, it's not non-binary. They as
No,
in the
I thought you meant like
collective.
they as like the collective him. I don't know. I just thought that they served the alien pancakes. I didn't think it was the other way around. Either way, it's a great story with pancakes. No matter what, I'm excited to see what happens with the pancakes.
Whether he gave it to them or they gave it to him.
Right.
Either way you put it,
I will
crazy.
be happy either way.
Either way, it's freaking wild.
I'm more shocked by the alien knowing what pancakes are.
Well, I'm not sure if they did.
They served it to him.
But I don't know if they were I don't think they thought of it as a pancake.
Maybe we should listen to your story and then we'll ask questions.
That'd be good. I'm only like not even a full page in. On April 18th, 1961, Joe Simonton's life would change forever. Joe lived in a small house in a rural community, and he was the local plumber and also raised chickens, but not a farmer, which some sources get him confused with. He just happened to raise chickens.
Oh, okay.
Around 11 a.m., Joe was doing some dishes when he heard, quote, something like the screech of an automobile wheels as a car goes around a sharp bend fast.
Okay.
And there's one point in here where he was like, he thought it was his roof. And when he looked outside, he's like, no, my roof is green. So he just casually thought his roof was being taken off the house, I guess. When he looked out the window, he saw a large, shiny metal object, quote, coming straight down just like an elevator. At first, I thought the roof had come off my house.
Oh.
But then I thought, no, the roof is green and this is bright. What the heck is it? So I raced out to see what it was. The mysterious craft came to rest above the driveway near the rear of his single-story wooden house. It was about 30 feet in diameter and 12 feet tall. Joe reported that the craft didn't touch the ground but seemed to hover just above it. Suddenly, Joe saw a hatchway open, quote, just like the trunk of your car. A small person, I don't know what to call them, being,
Humanoid figure.
whatever.
Yeah.
Appeared in the hatchway. This person looked to be about 5 feet tall and about 120 pounds.
Hey, we're not that short. You called it a small person. I'm 5'2".
That's still taller than 5 feet.
This average size person.
That is not average, honey.
This slightly below average size person.
Well, these things were tiny.
Okay. I will say I do not weigh 120.
The face was completely hairless and it wore a tight-fitting cap on its head. Some reports said that it was a knitted helmet.
Oh.
Other reports said that the extraterrestrials were wearing a turtleneck type top.
Okay.
Depends on what you read.
Yeah.
The person beckoned Simonton, and as he approached, the creature handed him what looked like a jug or a large container. The person indicated through sign language that it wanted Joe to fill up the jug so that it could have something to drink.
Huh.
Then he handed Joe a, quote, metallic turn-in or bowl with 2 side handles. Joe said, quote, I looked at its eyes and it was so penetrating I had to look away. Joe carried the object into the basement of his house, filled it with water from the pump down there, and then returned to the craft. That is when he noticed that there were 2 more people. All of them were dressed the same, and Joe described it as, quote, one-piece tunics with no buttons or zippers that I could see, but with a hood over the head. It looked like black jersey material. I'm assuming sports jersey?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
He also said that the 2 other beings were chained or belted to the thing that they were doing. Not like in like a, I'm forcing you to do this kind of way, but more in like a safety way.
Oh, okay.
So like picture seats with like a seatbelt type thing to keep them in place.
Gotcha.
One was working at a panel or control board, and the other one appeared to be cooking something. Joe described it as a square grill-like thing and, quote, there were no flames, but it seemed to be very hot. There was smoke coming from it.
It's like an electric oven or an electric stove.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe's curiosity peaked when okay, hold on. Pause, time out. Nothing to do with the story, kind of. If I say your curiosity peaked, how would you spell peaked?
Peeked.
Okay, so I spelled it Peaked.
Oh, or is it Piqued?
Yeah.
Okay, that too.
I didn't even know that version existed.
Yeah, it's not my first thought, but I do know it's there.
Anyway, it's bequeed. It peaked. bequeed. That's what that looks like. His curiosity bequeed. He later reported, quote, "I made a gesture like eating. I figured I'd get a conversation going. Nobody was saying anything. The man in the hatchway noticed my interest and walked over and scooped up some of the items on the grill up and gave them to me. They looked somewhat like pancakes.
I wouldn't eat them.
He took 4 of the pancakes and described them as hot and greasy with a bunch of tiny holes.
Ew, I definitely wouldn't eat them.
After handing Joe the pancakes, the being placed the tips of his right hand to his forehead and immediately withdrew it. So think of like, you know how thank you in sign language is you touch your chin and move it out? It's like that, but on the forehead.
Doesn't that mean no, that means
This means thank you. I'm sure this means something in sign language, but I don't know what it is.
Huh.
But in terms of a describing point, that's the best way I could describe it.
Okay.
So I gave him my salute. What am I going to do? Joe goes on to say, quote, "Immediately after he gave me the pancakes, he shut the hatchway and you could not see any notice of where the door was or that there had been a door there at all. You couldn't see a bit more where the hatch was than you could see a hole in my hand." There was no hole in his hand.
Right, that makes sense.
After the door shut, the ship began to rise. It went up about 20 feet, tipped on its side at about a 45-degree angle, then shot forth and away to the south. There was a backwash of some kind for a pine tree near the ship with a butt of about 8 or 9 inches bent completely back. So the tree went whoop.
Yeah.
As the ship shot upward at a terrific speed, the tree oscillated back and forth and finally came to a stop. So like,
yeah. Thank you.
It showed no damage whatsoever, the trunk and branches being intact. After the craft was out of sight, Joe stood in his driveway a bit dumbfounded by what had just happened. Feeling brave, Joe took a bite of the pancakes and he said, quote, "If that was their food, God help them because it tasted like a piece of cardboard." He also remarked, quote, "If that's what they lived on, no wonder they're so small." The news about the alien pancakes spread like wildfire.
Obviously it did.
Right. The National Investigation Committee on Aerial Phenomenon, NICAP, actually refused to investigate his story.
Why?
I don't know. The pancakes were sent off to the Food and Drug Administration, though.
Smart, yeah.
And it was determined that the pancakes were made with regular earthly ingredients and were mostly made of buckwheat.
Huh.
Which is probably why they tasted bad.
Well, I had a buckwheat, what was it? Like a crepe. And it was fine. It didn't taste bad. It was also stuffed with like fruit and stuff, but still.
Yeah, maybe that mask.
Maybe it helped it a little bit.
So like encounters of any kind, people have very different opinions about the legitimacy of these type of stories. Neighbors of Joe considered him smart, credible, and a rational person. Others reported seeing the same spacecraft in the direction of Joe's house. So like other people in the area saw the same kind of spacecraft near where he lived.
Okay.
While the Air Force did not directly investigate, they determined that Joe was a credible witness, but suggested he had gone stir-crazy on his farm or had bizarre dreams and made it all up. His wife was apparently in Chicago visiting family, so he was all by himself.
Oh, okay. How long had she been visiting family?
Didn't say.
I don't think he went stir-crazy. My friend does go a little crazy when his wife's out of town, though.
I mean, I go stir-crazy after 24 hours of being by myself. But I certainly don't go hallucinating and making things up.
Do you think Joe made it up?
No.
Oh, okay then.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
After Joe Simonton's story went the 1960s version of viral, he had a hard time getting plumbing jobs.
Oh, Joe.
He told one newspaper, quote, "I haven't been able to work for 3 weeks now."
Oh my gosh.
Joe also claimed that since the incident, his chickens had been dying. Apparently, he asked the Vilas County Sheriff to notify the Air Force that the chickens became ill after the incident and several had died. He also told reporters that if it ever happened again, he wouldn't tell anybody.
Oh.
I know. Today, many UFO enthusiasts have weighed in on what they think about the reliability of Joe's story. A user on Reddit posted about the incident and many people commented with their 2 cents. Most of the comments were funny. Just like remarking on some of like the weird shit he said.
Okay, we like that. We can handle that.
Yeah. One user, Don't Touch Meek, or Don't Touch Me K.
Oh, maybe Don't Touch Me, K.
Yeah. Said, quote, "But is it me or does most of the information he gives about the flying vessel completely match up with other accounts that we have seen and heard of in recent times? It pretty much all adds up."
That's a good point.
Silver Result 9835 commented saying, "I believe that man and I can see a lie from a mile away." For context, there's a video of the guy telling the story like on the news.
Oh,
you can find it like on YouTube. So like you really get his point of
Story.
view. Yeah, it's not like secondhand.
Oh,
You
okay.
can hear him tell the story.
Did you watch it?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Sounded legit to me.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very calm. It was just very, very matter of fact. Like,
Yeah.
this is what
This
first
is what
happened,
happened.
then this, and that's it.
Huh.
They were literally doing like people meeting an uncontacted tribe.
Hmm.
So like I forget what the tribe's name is, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh. I know it.
Right. It's okay.
No.
Okay.
No. No. I was about to say Sinaloa. That's a cartel.
So different. But you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Let me know.
No. Go
Okay.
on. I'll look it up after.
Okay.
Santalize. No. Go on.
Okay. Meeting an uncontacted tribe, offering food, and initiating a trade. We probably did fuck this up. Something that made me laugh. What if the aliens were just doing something random? Like it wasn't food and the human motioned to eat it and they just kind of like handed to him. Like, sure, if you want it. And he's actually eating some kind of weird waste or just some random piece of something. Realistic Praline 70 said, I've heard this story before, although I've never seen the interview. When I heard the story, they talked about the test results of the pancake, which seemed to be made of some sort of grain from Earth, so I dismissed it. But seeing this guy, it doesn't seem like he is lying and talking about the eyes like everyone who has had a real encounter has stated. And
Right.
also how the craft tilted at 45 degrees makes me think that it's true.
Yeah.
The majority of the comments were funny and found the situation to be like silly, but not in a mean way.
Yeah.
Like it didn't seem like anyone was like, oh, that old man's stupid. Like it was very much like, this is a funny story.
Yeah.
Brad Warner wrote a blog post in March of 2023. So I got a lot of like stuff from him. And what I really liked is after the story, he obviously commented his 2 cents, but he really talked about like kind of collectively our beliefs as a society about UFOs and whether or not they're real, et cetera, et cetera. And
Ooh,
I thought he
okay.
had some really good points. I
Yeah.
don't go into all of them, but I did think it was interesting.
Okay.
So his thoughts were, quote, despite his lack of formal education, meaning Joe,
Mm-hmm.
Simonton was a trustworthy witness. He wasn't a nut job or publicity seeker. He had no reason to make up a story like the one he told. There were other witnesses who saw what was presumably the same object that took off from Simonton's driveway after its occupants gave him the pancakes. And there is physical evidence in the form of the pancakes themselves. Sure, there was no evidence that the pancakes came from outer space, but I challenge you to watch the interview footage on YouTube and imagine Simonton cooking up some pancakes for himself in order to try to put one over on the world with his bizarre tale.
Right.
I don't think he did. I'm convinced he was telling the truth about what he experienced. The Warner guy, he viewed the extraterrestrials doing something similar to what humans do.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, this spacecraft, it is assumed, is doing pretty much what we human beings would do if we were able to travel and to observe life on another planet.
And also, if he had made his own pancakes, why would he tell people that it tasted really gross and like cardboard?
This would be all part of his story.
I mean, because if I were making my own pancakes and I were trying to like convince people, I would say they're the best pancakes I have ever had in my entire life. I don't know what they do on other planets that make them taste so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you could go either way.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
Perhaps they are trying to be as secretive as possible about their observations so as not to alarm us or cause any disruption in our natural evolution. He says, something like the prime detective in Star Trek, where the United Federation of Planets is forbidden to interfere with less scientifically advanced civilizations.
Yep.
Maybe every once in a while they slip up and show themselves. Or maybe these seeming slip-ups are intentional, part of an overall plan to gradually reveal themselves to us. UFO researchers call this the extraterrestrial hypothesis, or ETH for short. In conclusion, Joe Simonton passed away 11 years later at the age of 71, and we will
that's
never
so
know
young.
if he had another close encounter of the 3rd kind.
So the abduction would be the 4th kind, but his was classified the 3rd kind correctly.
And the movie reference that should go with it is Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
For him, yes. So what do you believe?
I tend to believe these.
I like these. I want to believe these. And also, I've said it before, we're selfish to think that we're the only things in the entire universe.
Right. And this guy also pointed out, too, that like, just because we haven't figured out the technology to be able to travel millions of miles in space doesn't mean other civilizations haven't.
Right. And if you think about, too, like, I don't know, let's go back to the caveman era.
Right.
They would never think that we would have the ability to have, like,
Right.
transportation, like, things like that. So it's like, yeah, that technology is definitely out there. We just haven't come up with it yet.
Like, the people in the 1950s who would watch, like, the Jetsons, like, we're pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, so I definitely think it's possible. I also like the idea of, like, I agree with him that it seemed always to me that we would see them, but that's because 'cause they're coming to, like, watch us or
Check in
see.
on us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Film us for the next episode of What on
What
what in
on
the
earth?
yeah, what on earth? What in the world?
Yeah. So, I just think I think it's almost I would also say a little scary to think that we're the only people in the whole
That is kind of
universe.
scary.
Either being the first or the last of some kind.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible to me.
I mean, there's also that thing though, what was it? We got like a radio signal from somewhere
Yeah.
in deep space and it would just
The
last.
wow signal.
Yeah, and it lasted for like a couple seconds and no one knows where it came from.
Yeah, but we haven't been able to replicate it.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it's also because the thing keeps moving.
Yeah.
So why would you be able to
That
replicate
was
it?
so cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, I truly think from a logical standpoint, knowing how vast the universe is, and that's just the known universe,
Mhm.
and even knowing how many new planets that they've discovered in other galaxies and things like that,
That they're always discovering.
right, that they have said could maybe possibly support life.
Yeah.
Now, where I question is, does all life
Yes.
have to fall into what we deem as life?
Yes, we deem it as our life,
Right.
but is that all life? There's no way to know for sure.
And so I feel like when they say, "Oh, no life could be possible on this planet or that planet,
Right.
it's inhabitable," I'm like, for us,
Mhm.
how do we know that for another species they have to have oxygen to breathe like we do and
Yeah.
water?
Yeah. Because if they were on another planet that didn't have oxygen, then they don't need it to survive.
Right.
They maybe don't need water to survive. We do.
Maybe they breathe nitrogen for all we know.
Right.
So I that part is where I'm like, okay, I get that you're starting at what we know.
Right.
If we know that can support life, then maybe if we find it elsewhere, there will be life elsewhere.
Yes.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Howsoever, thinking that is the only way for life to be on said planet or whatever, I'm like, you don't know though, because
Right.
we've never really technically met anyone, so we don't know
What else is out there?
we don't know what their foundational needs are.
Right.
So, but yeah, I also think like with all the footage that people have seen that has been unexplainable. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, they're the ones that you can explain. And okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But there are still a good amount, thousands,
Mhm.
that the official people, the US, Air Force or whoever the fuck, has not been able to give an explanation to.
Yeah. And those are the cool ones.
And for those ones, I'm like, okay, well, if you can't give me an explanation that says it's not,
Then it's still technically
could be.
it's classified then as a UFO.
Right.
It's an unidentified flying object.
Exactly. I also have thought about it in terms of when we think about it in terms of our technology and how if we were to try to send a spacecraft X amount of light years away,
Mhm.
it would take, 45 human years or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
And so some people have seen that the reason why we haven't encountered anyone is because, they're sending these things to us with no people on it or no beings on it.
Right.
And so because of how long it would take.
Huh.
Or one person I saw said that because they sent it, at some point the civilization could be gone now
Yeah.
because it took that long, and I'm like, well, okay, that's depressing.
I know. But it's like
I
all
don't
those
like that one.
movies where they go into the cryogenic sleep
Right.
so that they can, sleep for the 100 years it takes to travel and then they wake up and they can,
Yeah. I don't know. I think to me, it does not sound illogical to think that there is other civilizations out there that are far more advanced than we
Oh,
are.
100%.
Just seeing how far human beings have been able to advance scientifically, and especially I watch How It's Made.
Fall asleep during how it's made, but yes.
But yeah, when I am awake, some of the things that they put together, I'm like, my brain cannot comprehend how someone figured that out.
Right. Yeah, I think that a lot.
And so I'm like, to me, our own technology wows me.
Yeah.
This is an incredible piece of technology comparatively to where we came from.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say that someone couldn't be more advanced than us?
Yeah.
So
Well, fun story.
I thought it was adorable with the
It is
pancakes.
adorable.
But
Like,
yeah,
oh, okay, here you go.
I do have a picture of him holding the pancakes, and it definitely seems like, you know how when you cook pancakes and you first put the batter on, it does have holes?
Oh, uh-huh.
It didn't look like that. It looked
Okay.
like the cook's pancake, but with holes in it.
Ew, yeah, I want to see.
Yeah, I can show you. Not right now because I turned off my computer. I can show you later.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's Joe Simonton and his close encounter of the third kind, where he was served pancakes.
Well, very interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if they really were pancakes. Like, I wonder if that alien was cooking.
Yeah. Or if
Or
it
like
was
what that
like,
one the guy said of like they were just putting something together and they're like, sure.
yeah, do you want, like,
If
maybe
you
it's like
want.
the stuff that, like, when you work on something, you might have oil that spills.
Yeah.
What
It's
if
like
this is like,
waste.
yeah, the
Yeah.
waste of what they're working on?
They're like, I mean, I guess. But what I found interesting is that when they were communicating, so to speak,
Right.
the salute, even though it was different, both could tell meant thank you.
Oh, okay.
And that like when the alien thing gave him the jug, he knew it was water.
Mm.
And when he made the motions of eating, they gave him something to eat.
I mean, maybe they've been observing us.
And so that's got me thinking, like, when we say things are universal, like shaking your head yes
Mhm.
or shaking it no matter what language you speak in this world, everybody knows what that means.
Yeah.
So when we say something is universal, are our body movements in terms of how we respond to people universal, or is it because they've watched us and know how we communicate?
I like that one more.
The second one?
Yeah, that they've watched us and know how we communicate.
I think the first one would be really awesome because it
That
means
one
it
would
would
be cool too.
transcend far beyond us.
Wow, transcend dimensions and universes.
Yeah, that like we're all still interconnected because all of us, no matter what planet we're on or what beings we are, or what air we breathe, we all nod our heads.
Yep.
We all nod our heads for yes and shake our heads for no.
But what if it's like the uninhabited Sentinelese? It's gonna come to me eventually, but I don't know if they know like yes and no.
And we wouldn't know because
Right, because we can't contact them.
Yeah.
They kill people who come there.
Yeah.
So, Wow, nice story.
Thanks.
Nicely told.
Thanks.
So we'll always say rate and review us.
Yeah.
Follow us on A Scary State podcast on pretty much everything.
Yep.
And stay scary.
And stay safe.